Hey, and we're here with one of the most sought after LinkedIn trainers and coaches in the UK. His name is the one and the only Andy Gwynn. He's a leading business coach, speaker, and author, and Andy has coached hundreds of business owners and corporate directors to greater profitability, more free time, and successful relationships across their business and personal lives. And how do we do it? How do we get more business and avoid cold calling and leverage our time? Well, it's with this very powerful tool called LinkedIn, but we have to use it properly. And Mr. Andy, he's outraged about the misuse sometimes. He's outspoken about what can be done properly. So he is here to educate us, to set us right, to tell us what we can do about LinkedIn to grow that network, grow that business. So Andy, glad to be speaking with you.
Robert, you too. From the other side of the pond, you said sought after in the UK. I'm actually based in southern Spain, but most of my client work is UK, but globally as well, because what I love about LinkedIn is it is truly global. So I'm looking forward to sharing some good stuff with your audience right now.
Oh, yeah. And that's a good point just off the bat. Like it used to be if I'd come across someone, maybe I'd have their email, maybe I'd have their Facebook. But if they were from some other country, I'd think like, are they really serious? Are they really my type of person? But now if I'm on LinkedIn, it doesn't even matter much what the country is, right? As long as you can look at their profile, you see they have a following, you see they've filled things out, they have content. You're like, okay, they take their business seriously. And the location doesn't matter so much anymore. We can video chat instantly, and it's a wonderful time to be alive. So as far as what you're all about, what currently has you excited, hyped up, what did I leave out of that introduction I just gave you? What currently just has you super focused and passionate?
That's a great question. I think it's about, I've realized I'm wired for results. I love results. I love getting results quickly. I used to be a business coach, and I would work with clients that might take months, sometimes years to break through and get the results they want. But when I niched into LinkedIn in 2010, so 15 years now, so I've seen some changes, but we can get results instantly. I've got clients that as soon as we start, I've got some automation. We can leverage the activity. We can scale it up, and they're getting results within days of going live. And so for me, that's what I'm passionate about, because the other thing is people say, and you've asked me what's unique about me, is that you've got to be adaptable. How much change have we seen since COVID? Before COVID, I would get people, the reason you perhaps said I'm sought after in the UK, if you look at my profile, it still says that I'm in the UK, my address. Because I used to get people say, where are you based? And I used to go, why? Well, I want to deal with someone I can meet on my doorstep. That was 10 years ago. And it was certainly 5 or 6 years ago, because at COVID, that just changed, didn't it? Now people will trade globally because they couldn't move. So I have clients all over the world I've never met. So what I'm passionate about is helping them get results. And I think LinkedIn is probably the major, certainly the major in my life. It's certainly one of, if other people have got some other majors, it's the key thing for helping businesses generate results quickly.
Oh, yes, I agree. And I can relate to this because my email deliverability has just been on a slow decline year after year. And I've just been thinking, well, I need to figure out some other better way, right? And SEO is slow, and they changed the rules. Pay-per-click, it's so expensive and it's so scary. And then social media, you always hope that would have been the answer, right? Twitter or X had so much promise. Facebook had so much promise. And then LinkedIn, for so many years, it was just this resume site, right? It was just you post about the places you worked. And then I don't even know what year, it might have been mid-pandemic or just before the pandemic, I started using it more and more. And I was just like, whoa, this site has changed. This is like Facebook, but for business, basically. And I'm on it every single day, and I scroll through, and sure, there's some kind of the obviously generated AI content, but even when there is that, like there's people that have these huge followings, it's really refined, it's really shaped. And then never mind the DMs, right? The inbox and the connections you can make. I've got coaching clients, I've made sales, I've been on podcasts, I've gotten podcasts. It's just this whole new networking opportunity. And it's like what I feel like Facebook should have been, and then what is kind of fill in the gap, at least for me, as far as the traffic, the email marketing. But like, what have you seen? Like when someone has the usual objections against using LinkedIn, they say, oh, it's full of the bots and the AI, and I don't want to use it. Like, what do you say to talk them into it?
Okay. I do a lot with real estate investors and developers, property investors. And I get them coming and they go, no, I don't like social media. And I go, okay, let's suspend that. And The posting side of LinkedIn, sure, social media stuff, but that's the 20%. And by the way, as you know, we've got an incredible system for guaranteeing people to get thousands of views of their posts. Because what happened at COVID, everyone got locked down. We know that. And I expected a massive surge of usage. I had clients going, I can now get in touch and get a response from global procurement directors. And I went, I'm not surprised because they're locked down in their bedroom in New Zealand. They got nothing to do. They're on LinkedIn. But what I didn't expect was the massive surge of new users. LinkedIn's now gone over 1 billion users around the world, which is incredible. So what was the question? What do I say? So when people say I don't like social media, I go, hang that. This isn't social media. This is how to connect, direct, engage directly with the decision makers you want to get to. Yes, your post can get seen, but that's part of the mix. That drives traffic to your profile. When people see you, one of the most underutilized strategies on LinkedIn is connecting with everybody who views your profile. And I do that automatically. Yes. My system does that. I do that for my clients because 99% of people are just surfing around with no strategy. LinkedIn's throwing people at you and you're surfing around. But I want the 1%. By the way, here's my magic message. I noticed you viewed my profile recently, wondering how come, how can I help? I want the 1% who said, I was looking for some help with LinkedIn. Perfect. I write business every quarter from that strategy. So when people say, I don't want to use it, what is it you don't want to use? And if I hear the word, oh, it's just automated. Someone said, you're using an automated system. I went, how do you know that? Oh, well, I'm guessing you've sent this out to a lot of people. I said, well, 5 years ago, I'd copy and paste that message to 100 people a day, but it took up hours of my time. Now I'm just automating it. It's not the automation. It's the message you are objecting to because people don't know how to engage and write content. What happened in COVID, I had a lot of people going, and this is their words, I'm just getting hit by crappy sales messages. So my answer is ignore them. Learn to write good sales messages and you'll get inbound response, won't you? Here's a great one. All right. Wishing people happy birthday. I go, I never weave in a sales message to that. I do on a work anniversary. I especially do on a job change. Hey, I'm sure you're busy settling in, but as and when you want to talk about LinkedIn, happy to chat. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Andy. Give me 2 weeks and then we're on for business. Birthday, it's a bit crass, except a client of mine who runs an office furniture business decided to go, happy birthday, Robert. Trust you're having a great day. P.S. If you want to treat yourself to a new office chair for your birthday, you know where I am. LOL, smiley face. A woman came back to him and said, perfect. Thanks for the birthday wish. By the way, we're moving offices. Can you come in and talk to us? And we need executive stuff for the boardroom. 70,000 quid. I know it's pound or dollars. 70 grand order from one birthday message. So when people say, I don't like LinkedIn, I don't care about LinkedIn. LinkedIn changes stuff. LinkedIn are hypocrites. I have a love-hate relationship with them. I don't care. If the function is there, my rule as a business coach is I don't care what you think about me. I care about what you go away and do. Is if the function's there, how can we use it to serve us best? And open up your mind to it because it is the most powerful tool to be able to find, connect, and engage with your ideal contact. I live in Spain in my dream home. When we found the home through referral, I found my Spanish lawyer and my Spanish mortgage broker within 24 hours of going to my network on LinkedIn. Nothing to do with sales, but saved me a fortune. Why? Because of recommendations. So if people go, I don't like it, I go, what don't you like? It's not the automation. It's not the AI. It's the message that people are generating with that or pushing out with that vehicle because people don't know how to write messages or content. That's the issue. And by the way, people are searching for you. People are on LinkedIn surfing. If you're not on LinkedIn, you're missing an opportunity to be found. If you want to be found, you're in business, for goodness sake. And if you're not utilizing it, your competitors are. You know, what we have with our system to be able to go and connect every day and message your network. You've got 12,000 connections. You know, if I say to you, what are you doing with those? You'll go on posting. By the way, Robert, I know you can be getting better exposure of your posts because I've had a look at your posts and, you know, we've talked about our post party club that can do that. But what else are you doing? Well, nothing really because I've got 12,000 of them. So let's segment them. You can go message about 100 of those a day. I can be communicating, engaging and giving value to a couple of thousand of my network every month. So anyone who's got an objection, they need to think about what is it I'm really bothered about. And yeah, if you're getting hit by crappy sales messages, you are because most people don't know how to market themselves. They just ignore them, become better than them.
100%. And you bring up so many good points. And it's like, well, okay, well, you have this problem, right? Of like, okay, the problem is LinkedIn, I have this label about it. I have these reasons I can't do it. And you're just saying, well, are you interested in solutions, or do you just put up a complete brick wall where there's no breaking through? Well, if there was a way to do what your competitors are doing with LinkedIn, then could it help you? All right, well, then let's break that problem down into smaller pieces and get past it, right? Well, you don't like that there's the spam messages. And of course, we all get that, right? We all get junk in the mail. We get telemarketing calls, but then sometimes there's that right person, right place, right time, like that office share where you're like, hey, sometimes the message just get in. And you're making me think here, Mr. Andy, that even the other day I had a friend that sent me a message on LinkedIn, and I've known him, and I'm like 80% sure it was just a virtual assistant messaging, but he said, hey, I've got this post, can you leave a comment? And I did. And so just because I know I can trust him. And so it's a matter of, well, some stuff is spam and we don't want to do that. And it seems like whenever I've spoken to guys like you who do like the LinkedIn automation, it seems like the thought process is the automation like tees up the conversations, right? You don't expect it to like completely make the entire sale, but if there's that happy birthday or they viewed your profile, you get talking to them, and then that's where it seems then the human jumps in. So it's not just automating all of it, it's just like setting up conversations for you. Is that on the right track?
And even more so, Robert, because I work with real estate investors. A lot of those, they want cash investors. So I've got testimonials I use in a webinar run, and let me come on to webinars in a second. But the low hanging fruit for you and anybody who's not going out every day, I have a formula for success. It's called massive action times the right stuff times consistently equals results. So you
Hmm.
can go out to 100 of your connections a day, but if your message is crap, massive action times zero is zero. Let me teach you and help you. We've got some AI. And by the way, I'm AI weary right now. The AI is the foundation, but the human eye then has to cast over that and develop your message even more. And I'll work with you to develop it even more because that's what we're great at doing. Um, but if your message is crap, massive action times zero equals zero. So let's get you the right message going out to the right people. But if you do it for 1 week and stop, massive action times the right stuff times zero equals zero. So actually, the low hanging fruit is I've got examples in these last 90 days of 2 or 3 clients. The moment we've started messaging their existing clients, their existing connections, going, hey, it's been a while. We haven't really engaged, but here's what we do. Here's how we add value. Are you interested? They get inbound. I've got inbound within 3, 4, and 4 days from 3 people in the last couple of months. The moment we start going to your existing connections, let alone let's build new connections every day, you know?
Right.
But what's your strategy? And by the way, LinkedIn has a phenomenal way. If you are running podcasts or webinars or events on how to drive invites to your event through LinkedIn, but you have to set it up in the right way. And then LinkedIn allows you to send invites, not DMs, you can do DMs as well, invites to 1,000 of your connections a week. Now, of course, we want to automate that because it's labor intensive. But LinkedIn, if you set it up in the right way, allows you to then upload those attendees into your CRM system in your office. That is gold on Bitcoin, isn't it? Because those
Yeah.
people are interested in your webinar, they've registered, you've now got them into your CRM. Tom Poland, who wrote Webinar Marketing with Webinars, says expect a 30% show rate. So the other 70% I've got in my email database forever. If you're not using LinkedIn in the right way, then there's lots and lots of opportunities. Now, you've asked me, why am I unique? When you combine guaranteeing getting thousands of views of your posts with perpetually massive action, consistently building connections, messaging, engaging with your connections, and promoting your events. I've just run an event yesterday. I didn't plan enough time. I got 140 people registered through my LinkedIn activity. I doubled that with my
Nice.
email activity. But that's 140 new bits of data, new people into my office CRM because I want to get the conversation off LinkedIn as quickly as possible. Because you made a great point. You're not going to sell on LinkedIn. You're not going to back messages backwards and forwards trying to make a sale. If you're doing that, you're deluded. The moment someone responds in, you want to go, hey, let's chat through it. I'd love to understand more about what you're doing to see how I can help you best. Let's have a call. Or like my real estate investor, if you want more info, go to my website. I've got my investor pack because now you're in my database forever. Now let's
Right.
talk. Now you've had my investor pack. We can cut to the chase. Let's have the conversation. Get the conversation offline as quickly as possible.
Well, very nice. And so yeah, we get them off of LinkedIn as quickly as possible. And you think of like when you and me have made when we purchase, right? It's not just off the DMs. We get on someone's list. We go to a web page. We talk on the phone. We watch a webinar. We listen to a podcast, and we have all these items available to us as far as like hitting them from different angles, so to speak. And you mentioned Tom Poland. I've narrated his audiobook, that exact book, Marketing with Webinars. You can look that up on Audible. I've narrated it. So we have that mutual connection, that friend in there as well. And so you mentioned about this idea of the like you have like a freebie, or you have some kind of value you want to deliver when you message someone. And that's really tricky, isn't it? Right? Because if you send me a PDF report, I'm just like, you gave me a book to read, right? You made a book report for me. But then there's the other extreme of like, well, you don't want to take so long to cut to the chase. So does this nuance ever come to mind for you when you say, well, I want to I want to qualify or disqualify the lead, but I don't want to like take too much time getting there. So how do you reconcile all that?
That's a great point, isn't it? And I think from my coaching days, I understand behavioral profiles and communication styles. And so people are different, aren't they, in what information they want, how they want the information, how they process it. So if I connect with someone and you accept, I automatically send a welcome message a day later. Let's not look too keen. And he says, hey, thanks for connecting, Robert. You'll see from my profile that I help people get more business from LinkedIn. And just as a way of saying thanks for connecting, by the way, if there's anyone I can introduce you to, but I've just attached my nine tips to creating a powerful personal profile. I hope it's of use to you. I'd love to know your thoughts. By the way, that's a beautifully neutral phrase. I'd love to know your thoughts. You're not going to alienate people by going, yeah, what do you think of the look of it? Now, most people don't reply, but I get the people who value that go, thanks very much. It's really interesting. Cool. How was it interesting? Well, it was this. Would you like to talk more about how I can help you do that? I've had it. And I'll send them another follow-up message. By the way, I've been called anal and obsessive about LinkedIn. Here's my post-party club members have access to this document called 28 Tips to Getting More Views on Your Posts. I hope you find that of interest because I've noticed you've been posting. Love to know your thoughts. Because if they don't reply, I'm going to be marketing to them as my first tier connections. And also when you do need to be posting, I guarantee if you put this system that we have, I call it the 7 effective habits of LinkedIn networking. If you know Dr. Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I owe him that for the headline. But it fills webinars because there's 5 steps plus the other 2 are posts. And I guarantee you will find, connect, and engage with your ideal connection. I also guarantee you'll get engagement from people in a way I can't guarantee. I had a guy book a call with me the other week and I said, how connected? He said, no, I've been looking at your posts. I've been reading your stuff for a few months now. I said, but you've never liked it, commented, engaged. He went, no, I don't do that. I'm looking for the information I want. When I'm ready, I'll reach out to the supplier that I want to be talking with. So there are LinkedIn lurkers there. So if you're not, it's way more than 7 touches. And I'm just talking LinkedIn. Yes, I've got similar stuff going on with Facebook. You've got TikTok, you've got Instagram, you've got YouTube. You've got to be communicating with people. And my dart to the bullseye is I want to connect with you. I want to give you something. I want to talk to you and I want to say, here's what I do. Here's how I help people like you. Not here's what I do. Here's how I help people. Is this of interest? I've just gone to a franchisor today. By the way, this was my defining moment 15 years ago. For those people you've said struggle with LinkedIn, I went and connected with a franchisor. He accepted the next day because I was in the franchise industry. And I said, thank you. I'm just wondering who in your organization is responsible for helping your franchisees generate more business. Would they be interested in talking about how I could help them generate more business through LinkedIn? Not, hey, Mr. CEO, I want to talk to you because I don't know whether you're the decision maker. He came back straight away that day and said, happy to chat. Here's my mobile cell phone number. Can you call me tomorrow at 10 a.m.? I sat back there as a salesman going, wow, no more cold calling, no more knocking on doors. And by the way, if any other LinkedIn trainer says you should take 10 messages and 10 weeks to engage with people and be nice and chatty, I'll shoot them because it's usually the people who are a bit anyone who says they don't like pushy salespeople, it's because they're no good at sales. Anyone who
Right.
says, by the way, you use the word spam, you cannot spam people on LinkedIn because you've both connected, you've both given each other permission. Go Google the word
Right.
spam. I said to someone the other day, I'm interested in your definition of spam, but I get you. I'll take you off my list. You won't get any more messages from me. That's okay. I accept that. Um, so where was I going with it? You can now get, if you don't offer your services, if you don't talk to people about how you can help them, you've done your prospective client a disservice because you offer massive value to your audience, to your clients. Our role, we all offer a value, otherwise we won't be in the business, would we? Doesn't matter
Right.
what we're selling. You have a duty to show the world that, to give them the opportunity to say yes or no. And LinkedIn is just there to be done in so many different ways.
Well, very nice. Well, I love your passion about this topic, and there's so much that is possible. And I love how you position it as it's like a almost like a one-click opt-in, right? With the you and I've been around doing the internet stuff forever, and like we were always taught, we'll have an opt-in page, right? Someone enters their name, enters their email, and that worked back then. But then what happens? Well, someone has to type it in every time. Then they're like, well, where do these messages, this email come from? It's so easy to unsubscribe, but like you say, you connect with each other on LinkedIn, it's 100% clear. Like I know that I kind of so-called subscribe to this person, and we both agree to do it, and I can block or undo at any time. It makes a lot more sense, and now it's up to you to think through the phrasing and the positioning as you're saying, like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Here's what I can, some people like you ask for my help, and it's up to you to ask, but here I'm giving you the opportunity to see what's possible here. And so I know that you have these freebies that you spoke of where there are some things that we need to apply properly on our LinkedIn profile, and some things that maybe we're not doing right with our posting or our messaging, and we don't have time to go through all the lists. We'll give some links at the end to get to that, but just as far as a podcast conversation here, right? Giving someone a taste or a tease of what maybe they should change. Is there any one aspect of LinkedIn, the profile, the messaging, the content? Is there anything that drives you crazy that someone should maybe start doing, stop doing, or change?
Another great question. Yes, I think so. I have an online course called LinkedIn Mastery for Property Investors because I've done a lot of work in that industry. And the reason I mention that is because a lot of them are new coming out of employment and they're going, how do I use LinkedIn? How do I position myself as a schizophrenic? Because I've got a job as well as trying to get into real estate investing. But what I talk about, everything we've talked about so far, Robert, is all about how to engage with people. But if you're going to engage with people, some of them are going to check you out. They're going to look at your profile. And if your profile is terrible, you're going to lose them. So step one has to be to get your profile powerful. And what I believe is the 80-20 rule, the three main things. Now, in my online course, I take real estate investors through all nine, every bit of the profile, how to build powerful testimonials, how to upload content that adds value. But if you think about this, people are surfing around LinkedIn as well as just searching. They're surfing as well as searching. And your headline needs to stand out. Bit like an email, bit like anything, because if it needs to stand out and grab attention, because LinkedIn is awesome, but it's phenomenally busy, isn't it, with 1 billion users. If your message to someone grabs their attention, they're going to click through to your profile. And the first thing they're going to see is the about section. So your about section needs to populate and be full of value, talking about what you do for people, how you help people. Not I've had 20 years as an IT super guru and I can do blah, blah, and I've got all this qualification. Nobody cares. I don't care. I care about how can you help me get more business? How can you help me save my marriage? How can you help me reduce taxes? Whatever it is, your about section. And then if they want more in the experience section, which people used to confuse as the old CV, curriculum vitae, what do you call it in America?
Resume.
Resume. Thank you. I knew the word. I live in Spain. I'm learning Spanish, so I'm going to struggle with
Right.
some of the words. It isn't. The experience section needs to detail more. Who do you work with? How do you work with them? What value do they get from working with them? What's in it for them? And certainly the top part of that experience section. Nobody really is going to drill down to what you were doing 20 years ago. So one of my frustrations is I look at someone's profile and it just says, I've been a podcast expert for the last 5 years. And I think, well, what did he do before that? I've looked back. You and I have been in business 20 odd years, about the same sort of time. I've looked through your experience section. So there's credibility there. Your profile has to give value. It has to get found. And importantly, more importantly, I think than ever, it's got to prove your credibility. Is there a lot of people teaching and consulting on LinkedIn? Yes. Why am I different? A whole bunch of reasons. Because I've been immersed in it for 15 years. We've got two unique systems that I know are globally unique, where I can guarantee results and I can help you get to those people. Plus, with all the experience of writing content from a sales psychology perspective, and tie that in with your webinars and events, because I've been coaching people to deliver on events for 20 years. I know I've got credibility. My profile represents that. Someone connected with me the other day. Can we speak? What made you reach out to me? Well, I've seen your profile. You've been around a long time. You look good. You've obviously got experience. If nothing else from today, if people listening go away and think about their headline, attention grabbing, write their experience section, their about section to talk to their audience, and then their experience section. You've got to give credibility because we're in a crowded world. But this is an English phrase. It's bloody easy because nobody's really doing it. If you go away and do it, we all talk about LinkedIn. We all know about LinkedIn. And people go, this sounds too good to be true. No, nobody's doing it. And the moment you do that, and then you go through all the outreach on how to get people, especially if you leverage it to be doing it, remember, massive action, right stuff consistently, you're head and shoulders above any of your competition.
Yeah, you're better optimized. You thought it through, and they don't even know they need to think it through. And so this is great to think about, right? The headline optimization, the keyword optimization. So if someone is looking for you and what you provide, if you're a podcast expert, if you're a LinkedIn expert, and they're searching certain phrases, okay, they land on your profile and they're looking for certain things. And do they realize that are they in the right place, or is there one or two things about your profile that they say, okay, next person? And it's one of these things where I think probably you and me, Andy, I think we're fluent enough in LinkedIn where, like, if we're looking for someone, we can even like subconsciously, intuitively say, hey, this is who I want, versus maybe something doesn't quite look right. I'm not sure why. It's because maybe they've only checked like 4 out of 7 boxes in the mental checklist someone like you and me might have. And so there's a lot of there's ways to go wrong, but you can also go and fix these things up if we're aware of that with your help. And so how does someone get this sort of help from you? If someone says, all right, I'm excited, I'm re-energized about LinkedIn and its possibilities, but I'm also overwhelmed about what I maybe should be doing next. How does someone take some of these next steps with you? How do they find out more about what can and should be done with LinkedIn?
Okay, that's an easy answer, isn't it? Because you mentioned if they're in overwhelm, and there is a lot that you can do, but for me, it's very simple and easy because I know all the steps, so I can walk people through handhold and step by step. But if you're not sure, best thing is connect with me on LinkedIn, message me and say, hey, I want to chat. If when you ask to connect, my automation accepts and you will get some messages, ignore them. What is he on about? He was talking with Robert. Just message me. I pick up all my messages. But if you think you know what you want, if you know about LinkedIn and you go, I need to scale up my connections and my engagement with my connections, go to number 3degreessocial.co.uk. There's a whole load of stuff in there. You can just click and buy. But then if you've got any questions, you can shout me. Or if you're posting, and here's where I get on my soapbox, even though my post-party club membership is very low-level financial end, I think there's some time and commitment from you to participate, whereas with the outreach, my team are doing all the heavy lifting for you. But if you go to postpartyclub.co.uk, if you are posting and you are not leveraging the algorithm, if you're not seeing 1,000+ views on your posts, you're wasting your time. It's a bit like creating a website and not having SEO. In the old days when you and I started, it's like writing a poster, a flyer for your event and shoving it in your shed. No one's going to see it. Then you need to go to postpartyclub.co.uk and just join. It's 97 quid a month. But if you've got any questions at all, I don't care about the numbers because of the way we met, Robert. I will deal with, if there's a lot of people from your podcast saying, Andy, I want to talk to you because I've got special needs. I had a lady the other day said, I've got 7 salespeople. How do we manage this? We need to look at our internal business strategy. Of course we do. Let's have a proper conversation around how that can work and what the best next steps are. And let's start here. And then depending on how fast you want to run, let's add to it and add to it. So I'm quite happy to speak with anybody that's coming from your network because I don't do many of these podcasts. And I'm semi sort of retired in Spain. I moved to southern Spain in COVID. Untrue. I got locked down the day before I should have flown back to the crappy weather in the UK. and I never went back. I took residency. So I'm looking down the mountain to the sea, and I have an American motorcycle. So in the afternoons, I want to ride. I will take the calls from your network. So if you're in overwhelm, you're not sure where to start, just connect with me on LinkedIn and message me and say, I want to chat. If you think you do know, you just want to scale up your activity and you're savvy with LinkedIn, 3degreessocial.co.uk. And if you're posting and you want to be leveraging that algorithm and learning how to write even better posts that work, postpartyclub.co.uk.
Well, very nice, very exciting, and I love the lifestyle that you're living, Mr. Andy. You're in Spain, you're riding motorcycles, and you figure about, like I'm here in America, and people came to America and they had to upend their whole lives, right? Get in a miserable boat and sit in there for who knows how many months, but now doesn't matter. You can be anywhere, and you use that computer to make money. And how do you do that? Well, it's not just you put up a website and people magically find it. You have to connect with the people. How do you connect with people? LinkedIn. And you practice what you preach by having a presence there and being responsive. And so you said that for someone to find you there on LinkedIn, that's first name Andy, last name Gwynn. So you go to linkedin.com/in/Andy Gwynn. You click on that connect button, and now Andy's one of your first level connections, which Andy said is definitely a universe you should be focusing on. People that you're already friends with on LinkedIn who already see you, they already communicate with you somewhat. So you start that conversation with Andy Gwynn, and you tell him about what excites you about LinkedIn, where your problems are, what you'd like to accomplish. So that's a good first step. And then we also said, as far as step number 2, there's 2 possibilities here. If you're looking to get more clients from LinkedIn, grow your network, that's 3degreessocial.co.uk. They will help you engage with the right people and focus on what matters. You can turn those connections into clients through know, like, and trust relationships. And with this little bit of automation, not all of it, but enough to get your strategy focused and dialed in, you spend less time on LinkedIn while still growing your business. That's 3degreessocial.co.uk. And then Andy said, if you're someone that is focused on the posting side of that, that's postpartyclub.co.uk, where they will help you get your profile, your content, and your commitment all figured out. So that way you can build that profile, create your content, and make your commitments 10x easier. That's postpartyclub.co.uk, 3degreessocial.co.uk, and Andy Gwynn on LinkedIn. And man, it's like 5 podcast episodes in one, right? My cerebral cortex is bursting with all the things that I could do and all the possibilities. And so if you're also like that, go to one of those web pages and take the next step with Andy. But before I let you go, Andy, we're here to demonstrate some value here, right? And so this is the scary part of the show, where I try to stump you a little bit and I ask for a fun quote or lesson that has served you that you can pass on to us. So what do you have for a quote or lesson?
Okay, cool. Thank you. And by the way, if the cerebral cortex is exploding, I'm quite happy to come back and we just chunk this down and do specific parts one at a time over a different time. So I thought about this. I've given you my formula for success. Massive action times the right stuff times consistently equals results. Think about that. I have had top achievers who have fed back to me that they've had that on their wall. And when they've struggled, they've looked at it and gone, which of these do I need to focus in on? It sounds simple to the logical engineers, accountants, people, but it is a powerful formula that served me in my life relationships and especially in my business results. But one of the best quotes I ever got, and I was taught by Brad Sugars, who founded Action Coach, who's a phenomenal global business coaching franchise, phenomenal entrepreneur and mentor. But he was mentored by the late, great Jim Rohn, who I was fortunate to see in Arizona when he was inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame maybe 20 years ago before he passed away. Amongst many quotes, and I go a bit goose pimply, the one that sticks with me more than anything is, I need to work harder on myself than I do on my job. So I need to learn how to write the right stuff, how to write the right posts, how to engage with people, how to sell, how to give people. I need to get better at what I do. I'm working with a phenomenal guy at the moment, helping me with micro things in my webinars because I need to get better. Because the more people I can sell to, the more people get value. My clients don't stay and they don't pay if they're not getting value. I know it. I used to sell safety footwear into industry. Nobody really thanked me for saving their toes with metal toe caps. They might have said these boots are more comfortable, but that was about it. But now I got people making money, changing their lives, living a leveraged life now that we can because they're able to leverage their marketing and their sales. So, Jim Rohn, I need to work harder on myself than I do on my job.
That's huge. I love it. Work on that foundation, right? Build the emotional intelligence, the writing, the speaking, the communicating, all those important things, and that then flow out into your job and your clients and your business and all those other wonderful things. And so we want to live that leveraged lifestyle because life is too short. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We need to be both happy and fulfilled. And to get there, we can't do it alone. We need help, especially from Mr. Andy Gwynn from 3degrees Social and from Post Party Club. So if you have to, go and sign up for those web pages and re-listen to today's podcast episodes. We packed in so much. I'm so amazed and so impressed. And thank you, Mr. Andy, for showing up, stopping by, educating us about all things LinkedIn. It's been an amazing journey, and thanks for being here.
Robert, you are so welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I look forward to speaking with you again soon.